Annetta Felix live on TV360. Welcome to News Now. Senate President Bukola Saraki will know the fate of his false asset declaration trial on July 6. This is a date the Supreme Court has fixed to deliver judgment in an appeal by the lawmaker against his retrial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, CCT. The Federal Appeal Court had ordered his retrial after an appeal by the federal government. The Senate President was acquitted on 18 counts of false asset declaration at the CCT last June, but is now standing retrial on 3 counts based on the appeal court judgment. To legislative matters now, the Senate has slammed a 90-day suspension on Senator Ovio Omoagege for his comment on the reordering of the election sequence for 2019. The senator had said the amendment to the 2010 Electoral Act to reorder the sequence polls was targeted at President Muhammadu Buhari. He later apologized to his colleagues, but the lawmakers still investigated the matter through the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition. The committee had recommended a 181-day suspension for the Delta State lawmaker, but the Senate President Bukola Saraki appealed that the duration of the suspension be shortened to 90 legislative days, which is 6 months. Senate leader Bukola Saraki has issued a stern warning to chairpersons of Senate committees to ensure their budget reports are submitted before April 13. He said 20 committees are yet to submit their reports and also warned that late submission will not be tolerated. The budget, which had been stuck in the National Assembly since November 2017, was expected to be passed by January 2018, but was delayed owing to disagreements between the executive and legislature. The budget, which is expected to start running on June 1st, has a proposed spending plan of 8.612 trillion naira. The Senate has also been debating on security matters. They want the Nigerian Army to consider setting up an operation base for Kwara South Senatorial District. That's coming after an armed attack on 5 banks in Offa local government area. The police say 17 people, including 8 police officers, were killed in the attacks last weekend. The affected banks have since been shot, and the police are yet to disclose the amount of money stolen by the robbers. The Senate have also directed the Inspector General of Police to reinforce security measures to secure lives and properties in the area. The Nigerian Air Force has commenced a 3-day medical and surgical outreach for internally displaced persons in Ran IDP camp in Borno State. The Air Force, in a statement, said the medical outreach is to avoid catastrophes due to the recent withdrawal of humanitarian services by non-governmental organizations from Ran. The outreach is projected to cater for over 3,350 IDPs, while between 40 and 65 will benefit from general and eye surgeries. It will provide free primary healthcare services, medicated glasses, mass deworming, and treated mosquito nets. President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with President Abdulaziz Bouteflika and over 250 people who were killed in the country's deadliest disaster a few days ago. The president also extends condolences to the families and friends of bereaved Algerians and other nationals who are in sorrow because of the tragedy. The Bring Back Our Girls movement wants the federal government to do everything possible and ensure the return of the 112 remaining Chibok girls. The BBOG movement said this in Abuja while briefing the media on the arrangements to mark the 4 years in captivity of the abducted Chibok girls. They expressed happiness with the swift return of the Dapchi girls, but encouraged the government to also rescue the remaining Chibok girls who are still in captivity.
We simply want the government to exhaust everything that it can do in order to bring back our Chibok girls and to bring back Leah Sharibu. As far as we're concerned, those are the priority things that, as BBOG, this government owes us. Whatever it chooses to do, that's its choice. But we must hold them to account for the remaining of 112 Chibok girls and Leah Sharibu.
Nigerians will now have to enjoy quality health services without necessarily suffering financial hardship. The Nigerian government on Thursday in Abuja launched the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Ghebreyesus, says health services must be people-oriented to be truly universal. The Minister of Health, Isaac Adewale, also revealed that the Basic Health Provision Fund provides the platform for the expansion of high-impact and life-saving interventions to all Nigerians.
The establishment of the BHCF provides a great opportunity to turn political commitment into tangible gains, and to rally partners and the private sector around revitalizing primary health care as the foundation of achieving universal health coverage. Primary care is the bedrock of every high-performing health system. Making health services truly universal requires a shift from designing health systems around diseases and institutions towards health services designed around and for people.
Within the health sector, we now know, based on research in the last few years of this administration, that targeted coverage expansion of high-impact intervention, especially in reproductive, maternal, neonatal, and child death sector, to underserved populations, have an immediate impact on the health of women and children. Several programs piloted by government and partners across the country have demonstrated this. Expanding such programs sustainably is critical to improving health outcomes and human productivity and economic growth.
I knew that finally Africa was ready to take the lead in providing the solutions to Africa's challenges. So I affirm Dr. Tedros and the WHO's vision on behalf of women and children in Nigeria, on behalf of midwives all over the world, and on behalf of everybody that sees that putting people first is the right investment and the smart investment to make for our people.
The trajectory that is presenting itself is so scaring, because without money, there's nothing we can do. I join everybody in thanking all of us for this putting it there and for those of you who are here, but also to appeal that please, what is necessary is the political will. I say this because a meeting in Accra about a month ago was a small survey that shows that of all the 15 key drivers of how you get this thing done, the first one was that survey was the political will. Just the political will. If the political will is not there, Abba Jama, we are not going to achieve anything.
Still on health matters, the Nigerian Army says it is purchasing equipment to ensure soldiers who are injured in the line of battle are able to receive treatment in Nigeria. Major General Adekola Dada disclosed this on Wednesday while fielding questions from journalists in Lagos. He says the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has approved the purchase of equipment which will improve the military medical department to match world standards.
We have collaboration within and without. Within, we have some hospitals that we use. There's one in Kano that we use, PSC Hospital. There's one in Abuja, Cedar Crest. I've told you about that before. That one has just commissioned their complex of recent. And in that complex too, they've increased capacity for prosthesis, which they have informed the Army appropriately. And now we are using that center more and more for the cases of prosthesis.
Protesters campaigning for the release of Islamic scholar and leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria blocked the entrance of the National Assembly on Wednesday, demanding the release of their leader, Ibrahim Zakzaki. Zakzaki has been detained since December 2016, despite several court rulings ordering his release. The protesters say government's continued incarceration of the Islamic leader despite court judgment is it's a clear violation of anti-democratic rules.
The judicial arm of government has done their best, and we thank them for that. So the rationale behind this protest, daily protest, is to tell the government to comply with the court order, to comply under most, and we are not begging them in any way. We are telling them that they must comply. Sometimes they lie shamelessly, telling the whole world that they have made an appeal. Making an appeal does not mean you will not comply with the early court order. You must comply. Even I, who is a layman, who is not a lawyer, I know the case of Ojukuba's Lagos State government, When they refused to comply and they went on appeal, the government said, the court at that time said, go and comply with the court order first. They should release Marlon Zegzeki unconditionally. If they want to go on appeal, they should go on appeal.
We get to know about his health condition because there is a way of communication with him. And there are some people who look after him and we communicate over the phone, and some of his relations, we are allowed to visit him from time to time. So we know about that. It's something that is not hidden.
Up next is Business News with Esther Vese. Do stay with us.
People to get only 10 people to register to vote, 10 new voters. Each of us standing here today, when you get back home, when you get to your place of work, your school, try and get 10 new people that do not have their PPC to register to vote. We're going to take on our website onevoice.ng, onevoice.ng. Please go there, give us the information. If you get 10 people to vote, then you're amongst us.
So at least start with your voter's card and begin to use that to bargain about the type of person you want to see on February 16, 2019 and March 2nd on the ballot paper.
So we want to focus on people who haven't voted before. It's 100,000 people who are looking to pledge that because that gives us a minimum of 1 million new voters.
Instead of to say, my vote no go count now, try vote first, maybe see whether it will count, you know.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome to Business News. Data made available by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that inflation has again slowed, this time by 0.99%, which is the biggest drop in 11 months. In the Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report for March 2018, the NBS said inflation rate has dropped to 13.34% from 14.33% in February. This is the 14th consecutive month of disinflation since February 2017, when inflation first slowed. The highest increases were recorded in fruits and vegetables, fish, coffee, eggs, and cereals. The managing director of Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, said her leadership of the organization has saved billions of dollars for Nigeria through her anti-corruption style of administration. Speaking with journalists after making a presentation at the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday, Usman said she has been able to ensure transparency and eliminate corrupt practices.
We've saved billions of dollars in terms of ensuring that corrupt practices are eliminated. One of the key things the government has been able to do is to remove the monopoly of oil and gas cargo. Now, the Nigerian oil and gas, you're able to take cargoes anywhere, able to do exploration leading to any location in the country. Hitherto, designated terminals got priority consideration to the extent that only those terminals had access to oil and gas cargo, which made exploration of crude in Nigeria very, very expensive. This has tremendously assisted. We've saved billions and billions of dollars in crude exploration following the removal of the monopoly by President Muhammadu Buhari in oil and gas cargo designation. Corruption pushes back, it fights back all the time. We've had instances of corruption pushing back. We've remained resolute. We've had the support of the Mr. President in assisting us to fight all corrupt practices in the Nigerian Ports Authority.
Oil prices edged up on Thursday, supported by mounting geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, shrinking global oil inventories, and expectations of a supply cut extension by OPEC. Brent crude futures were at $17.84 per barrel, while U.S. crude futures were down 12 cents at $66.70 per barrel. Both Brent and West Texas Intermediate on Wednesday hit their highest since late 2014 at $73.09 and $67.45 per barrel respectively, after Saudi Arabia said it intercepted missiles over Riyadh by U.S. President Donald Trump and when he warned Russia of imminent military action in Syria. On Thursday, OPEC said the excess global oil stocks were close to evaporating due to healthy energy demand and its own supply cuts. Bears returned to the Nigerian stock market today after yesterday's bullish run. Trading activities declined with the market slipping into negative territory. The all-share index came down by 0.09%, closing at 40,818.69 basis points. Similarly, the market capitalization dropped at 14.742 trillion naira. The market was driven by price appreciation of low, medium, and high capital stocks like Mobil, who again led the winners table with a 4.7% rise, closing at 200 naira. Stanbic IBTC, EcoBank, Nigeria Breweries, and Owando all impacted positively on the all-share index. On the flip side, Dangote Cement recorded the highest loss, leading the losers table with a 0.77% drop, closing at 258 naira from yesterday's 260 naira. Unilever, UACN, Forte Oil, and Guinness also saw drops in their prices. Now, banking stocks continue to remain investors' delight, and leading the list is UBA with 30.159 million shares traded, followed by Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, First Bank, and First City Monument Bank. In summary, market activities closed with a 205.297 million shares valued at 3.199 billion naira, changing hands in 4,237 deals. And that's all on business news. And Netta will be back with the rest of the news after the break. Do stay with us.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Don't do like that again, no.
Thank you. So, bye-bye. Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going? Home.
You never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body, see?
Huh? You never shake body.
Eh?
Never shake body.
I don't get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Akoma, what's this man still doing here?
They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I don't get color.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma'am.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
Corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
And on the foreign news, on News Now, the man who lost the recent presidential election in Sierra Leone has filed a petition at the Supreme Court challenging the result. Samura Kamara, the candidate of the APC party, says the process was flawed and wants the Electoral Commission to recount the votes. Former military leader Julius Maada narrowly won the election with just under 52% of the vote. At the weekend, Kamara met President Maada and congratulated him, even though he has refused to concede. A German aid worker has been abducted in the west of Niger, near the border with Mali. Officials say the man and his colleagues were traveling on Wednesday when gunmen on motorcycles stopped them and burnt their vehicle. It is not immediately clear who was behind the abduction and whether the German's colleagues were also seized. So far, the kidnappers have not made any demands. And in sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria moved up 5 places from 52nd to 47th place in the latest FIFA World Ranking released on Thursday. In Africa, the Super Eagles are now in the 6th position. There was no improvement for the Eagles' 2018 Group D World Cup opponent as they all dropped places. Argentina dropped 1 spot to 5th, Croatia dropped 3 places to 18th, and Iceland dropped to 22nd. Team Nigeria ended Day 7 in the 10th position in the medal table of the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games. At the end of events on Wednesday, Nigeria's medal haul stood at 4 gold and 4 silver. Out of the 8 medals won, the Paralympic athletes have 4 gold and 2 silver. The outstanding performance at the ongoing Gold Coast tournament has been met with praises back home. Our correspondent spoke to the head coach of the Delta State Para-Athletics, Patrick Anito, who commended the team for their good performance. He also called on the federal government to provide more support to the team, as it will go a long way in getting the team ready, thereby making them stand a chance to win more medals for the country.
I feel happy being a para person. In fact, it gives us joy when our people go out and come home with medals, laurels like that. It makes us feel happy and proud, you know, because at times people look down on us that these people are not achievable, they cannot be anything, they cannot be of any good. But when it comes to this game, like what starting from last Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, the para sports, the para athletes started doing the country proud. Then this Commonwealth Games again, I mean, they are shining like stars. So we are all happy. First thing first, I want them to let there be fund released to these federations so that we can go to competitions, we can go to qualifiers. If you don't go to qualifier, you make do with whatever IPC will give you. But if you go to qualifier, when you qualify, your qualification comes through your own name and you go and compete. But when you don't go to qualify, you'll be begging them for a white card, which might not be up to 4. They can say, okay, only 3, only 2. But if you go to qualifiers, if you go to championships, possibly world championships, if you go there and you qualify as many people, like even if you qualify up to 30 people, if you have up to 30 people with a qualification standard, I mean, there is no way 30 people can go to competition. I will not be expecting up to at least 10, 15 gold medals.
Nigeria para sport at Commonwealth Game right now, they are doing great. If you have more than the number we have right now, we'll expect more medal from them. But unfortunately, we don't have large contingent from special sport to this Commonwealth Game. So those we have there, they are doing their best right now. And we at home, we're also happy to hear from them they are doing good in Gold Coast.
Former heavyweight champion Tyson Fury will return to boxing on June 9 against an unnamed opponent in Manchester. That will be his first fight since 2015. Fury has not fought since claiming the IBF, WBA and WBO world titles from Vladimir Klitschko in November 2015. He was suspended in 2016 amid anti-doping and medical issues and accepted a backdated 2-year ban in December. However, he had his license reinstated earlier this year and has now signed with promoter Frank Warren. That has been news now on TV360. I am Annette Felix. On behalf of myself and the entire production crew, I say thank you for watching.